I was in a farming accident when I was 5, and that resulted in me being a bilateral double amputee, and that's above the elbow for both my arms. I do most everything with my feet. That came about where I was in the hospital. Someone handed me a pencil, and back then people did a lot of stuff with their mouths, and I picked it up with my foot and started writing or coloring at the time. I was 5. And basically that's it. I went to school and grew up like everybody else, just doing it differently. I do use my prosthesis a lot. It actually gets in the way when I shoot, to be honest with you, except for carrying the rifle, because it's just I'm more bound up. I use a low impact form of shooting, free recoil form of shooting, so I don't touch the gun a lot, so it's not really, conducive to my shooting. But that's basically my story. ELR, I was already into long range shooting, which at long range, 400, 500, 600 yards, is something I enjoyed, 22, 250, and got pretty decent at that, and then kind of got stumbled onto wanting to shoot farther, first 1,000, and then after 1,000 you want to go to a mile, and so you need better gear, and it just is kind of this process you go through, just continuing to get better and better stuff, and the farther you reach, the harder it gets, and you never really stop learning. And so for me, it was really a big part of that was just learning. I got into it rather affordably, and ended up getting a partial custom gun, then a full custom gun, and I like the fact that every day I learn something new, because the conditions change, even though my gun is pretty much the same, and I'm learning those conditions. The hardest part, probably my own mental, getting in my own head, being really nervous when you're around people, that sort of thing, that you've not been around, you've never shot. Some of these people are somewhat famous in this industry, that sort of thing. You just kind of get into your own head, and you get nervous, and then that affects your fundamentals. And so I've done a lot of mental training, at least what I think I can, to try and just calm myself down, learn to reduce my heart rate and that sort of thing, because the first couple times I shot with people I didn't know, it went way high and I did terrible. So really just myself. My gun is better than I am, so I have a lot to work on. Yeah, one of the things I learned a little too late in life, to be honest with you, is I need a project. I need something to challenge myself. Life was a challenge the first 10 years after my accident, a significant challenge till I was 15, and probably clear into maybe my late teens. But I was determined to be self-sufficient, drive without any need for any kind of controls, and live alone, that sort of thing was just a drive for me. But once you accomplish a lot of that, especially in my 20s and then later, into my 30s, I needed new goals, because living was pretty basic and simple. And I've been into computers and all sorts of things, and into finance, stockbroker, you name it. And shooting's just something that, just keeps pushing me. I want to keep pushing that distance, but I also want to keep pushing myself. I like to control my body now, and my emotions and all of that really is what this sport opened up into me, an aspect that I didn't know affected it that much. And it was by far the biggest challenge, not shooting 2,000 yards. It actually was just me getting out of the way. So, yeah, that would definitely be a good answer. My favorite thing, I love the community. The people are really inviting and friendly. I think it's still a small community, so some of them, you get to know them, and you're all failing sometimes, and of course some guys are doing awesome all the time, but there's so much humility, because today you did great, tomorrow you do terrible, and I think that humility is inviting, because then a person, you walk up to them on the same playing field. And a lot of the egos and things that you run into in the gun community and other communities, I don't know, they just don't seem to be as prevalent here. There's always the guy at the range who's really loud, that sort of thing, but just a lot of people are friendly and great to be around and learn from. And they have a passion and a dedication to this. This is a sport you need to be passionate about, because it will bite you. But tomorrow you may have the greatest time of your life. So you got to be passionate, and when you're with people that are passionate about something as much as we are about this sport, it's kind of addicting. So go along with that, and the challenge part. Those would be my two favorite parts. Definitely don't let any fear inhibit you from trying. would be it. Just do it.